I was able to catch my breath and regain my strength. I was weary to go back out into the cave, but there was only one way out of this mess, and that was back the way I came. I cautiously broke the blocks to my sanctuary and inched my way out. After spotting more diamonds, I had to stop myself from rushing to them. Hearing a spider hissing from the darkness, I walled off the hole above me. I wasn't going to let another mob get the jump on me again. I extracted the diamonds as fast as I could so I could start making my way back to the surface. I worried my luck had run out down here, and I wasn't going to keep tempting the inevitable. If there's anything hardcore has taught me, it's that shields can save a life, and a bucket of lava can be used to kill things outside of redstone builds. Not sure where I was going, but I figured up would be better than down. Some gold had caught my eye on the way out, but I was feeling like I couldn't catch a break, and the cave wanted me dead. I could have just left the creeper, but it was more satisfying to give it a lava bath. I almost feel bad for it. Almost. I was relieved to have found my tunnel out of the cave.
Thank goodness. Get me out of here.
When I got back to my temporary base, I consolidated my inventory and got to smelting what I could. And of course, made some diamond tools. I started with a pickaxe and a sword. I then armed myself with a bow and went back down to collect some obsidian. I want to go investigate the nether portal I found earlier, and I wasn't sure if it needed more obsidian. So I grabbed some just in case. I found myself being consumed by the greed once again, and I extended my tunnel deeper into the earth. It didn't take long this time to find more diamonds. And to think, if I would have just done that from the start, I wouldn't have been in the situation I was in earlier. After my last pickaxe broke, I returned to grab my treasures and bed and headed back to the main base. While I was excited to get back to the world above, I was exhausted and took to sleep on the mountainside. I've never been more happy to reach my tiny little house on the mountain. I unpacked my things and headed up to go see if the villagers were still alive. It feels wrong to keep them locked up like this, like prisoners, locked away in solitary confinement. Well, at least they have each other. As I looked off into the distance, taking in the view, I pondered how I was going to get cows to my base. This was going to be a challenge, no question. As I made my way back to the house to sleep, I discovered a fox had taken up residence and ate all my chickens. This was frustrating, no doubt. The next day, I set out to investigate the ruined nether portal across the river. There wasn't much in the chest, but there was at least flint and steel, so I considered that a win. I cleaned up the area and collected the gold that was lying about. I think the gold may have been a power source for the portal at one point. But I had no issues reconstructing the portal. I don't think it was necessary to put the gold block back, since new portal technology only requires the use of a flint and steel to provide the adequate energy to open the gateway. I felt the void wrap around me like a hot blanket, and the rotten egg smell of sulfur assaulted my nostrils, causing me to gag slightly. I knew I should have held my breath. The overworld faded to purple, and the reds and blacks of the nether came into view. There wasn't much to look at other than the four walls, so I began digging. It wasn't long that I found myself low enough to find lava, which turns out can be deadly. Note to self, lava hurts and can kill you. And water does nothing in the nether to help. Narrowly escaping death once again, I reevaluated my plans and went back to the overworld for safety. Night had fallen and I was without my bed. I had to face the darkness if I wanted to get back to base. But I mean, how hard could it be? I started trekking my way down the mountain. I had to be a bit more cautious, since I replaced my bucket of water for a bucket of lava. Reaching the river, I was face to face once again with a drowned, but it was no match for me. Looking up at my house, somewhere over there, I realized it was going to be a long night of traveling. As I reached the shoreline of the other side of the river, I became surrounded by drowned and zombies. Frantically, I hopped into a boat. Hopefully, I could outmaneuver them. Just when I was feeling safe in my boat, a trident struck the hull and capsized me into the water. A second trident hit my back. I swam as fast as I could for land. I unsheathed my sword just in case I had to fight. As I reached the shore, I climbed high enough to get some kind of view on the drowned that was hitting me from the water. A trident struck the land next to me. I couldn't see the drowned, but it definitely could see me. I finally got an eye on it, and it was with another drowned. I felt safe on the shore. The drowned wouldn't come onto land, wouldn't they? After taking a couple of cheeky swings at the closest one, a baby drowned rose out of the water, and I sprinted back up to the shore. Clearly, I had been wrong about them not coming up onto land, and I quickly became outnumbered. There was no place for me to run now. I looked up at the sky for some kind of hope, and I saw the pinks and blues of the morning sun cresting over the mountains. I was able to kill off 2 drowned with my newfound confidence, but I was still in danger as long as the drowned with the trident was still alive. I approached the water with my shield raised in anticipation. In an attempt to keep my distance, I shot it with my bow, and it retaliated with throwing more tridents. I fired more arrows at it, but none of them found its mark. Getting frustrated with not hitting it, I reached for my sword and dived in after it. My shield took the brunt of the assault, and I finally disposed of the last drowned. Unfortunately, there was no trident for me to claim, even though there had been at least 15 impaled into the dirt next to me. I safely returned to the opposite banks and started climbing back to the house. This had to be the most impractical way to navigate this kind of terrain. An elytra would definitely prove useful. But at what cost? Was it worth the risk? I started learning to use my bucket of water more efficiently to climb. I rarely leave home without it now. And once again, I've never been more relieved to see my little shack. I took inventory of the local livestock and wrangled some pigs into a pen. Carrots and potatoes weren't going to last me very long, and I needed a better source of food. I also managed to hatch 2 chickens from my collection of eggs. The only thing I was left wondering was how in the world was I going to get a couple of cows up here?